In this section, we will explore additional motivation theories. Each theory approaches motivation from a different perspective and may be more effective for explaining or guiding different aspects of behavior. Acquired needs theory. The last need-based theory of motivation we cover in this lecture is called the acquired needs theory, developed by Douglas McClelland. Among all need-based theories, this one has received the greatest amount of empirical support. According to McClelland, individuals develop 3 types of needs as a result of their life experiences. These needs shape how we behave and what motivates us at work. In that sense, they are somewhat similar to personality characteristics, stable tendencies that vary from person to person. McClelland identified 3 main needs: the need for achievement, the need for affiliation, and the need for power. Each person has all 3 to some extent, but 1 or 2 usually dominate. Need for achievement. The need for achievement refers to the desire to be successful and to accomplish challenging goals. People high in this need enjoy solving problems, setting moderately difficult goals, and getting immediate feedback on their performance. For example, someone who works in sales or entrepreneurship often finds this kind of environment very rewarding. They can clearly see the link between effort and results, like more sales, higher performance, more recognition. However, this need can also create challenges. People high in achievement often prefer doing tasks themselves rather than delegating. As a result, they might struggle in managerial roles, where success depends on getting results through others. For instance, a high-achievement manager might get impatient when team members make mistakes or insist on doing things their own way instead of coaching others. Need for affiliation. The need for affiliation is the desire to be liked, accepted, and to maintain warm relationships with others. People who score high on this need value harmony and dislike conflict. They are often friendly, empathetic, and great team players. These individuals tend to thrive in jobs that require frequent interaction with others, such as teaching, counseling, or social work. However, in leadership or management positions, a strong need for affiliation can sometimes be a disadvantage. Managers high in this need may avoid giving negative feedback or making tough decisions because they fear damaging relationships. For instance, a manager might hesitate to discipline an underperforming employee simply to avoid confrontation. Need for power. Finally, the need for power reflects the desire to influence others and control one's environment. Power can take 2 forms. It can be personal, driven by the desire for status or dominance, or institutional, driven by the desire to organize and guide others toward shared goals. When expressed in positive and constructive ways, the need for power can make someone an effective leader. For example, a manager who uses influence to secure resources for the team or to improve working conditions. But when misused, it can lead to controlling behavior or manipulation for personal gain. Managerial implications. McClelland's theory has practical implications for motivating employees. Employees with a high need for achievement are motivated by clear goals, feedback, and opportunities to excel. Those with a high need for affiliation respond better to social recognition and being part of a supportive group. People with a high need for power are motivated by opportunities to influence decisions and lead others. As a manager, it's important to recognize these differences. Each employee has a unique motivational profile. Understanding their dominant needs allows you to tailor rewards and assignments to keep them engaged. It's also useful for self-awareness. Knowing which need drives you most can help you understand both your strengths and potential weaknesses. For example, realizing that your need for achievement might make it hard to delegate effectively. Process-based theories of motivation. So far, the theories we discussed focused on what motivates people, including needs, desires, and goals. Now we turn to theories that explain how motivation works. These are called process-based theories, and they view motivation as a rational cognitive process. Equity theory. The first process-based theory is equity theory, which is all about fairness. It suggests that people are motivated when they perceive fairness in their relationships and rewards. We compare our inputs, including the effort, time, and skills we contribute to our outputs, such as salary, recognition, or promotions. Then we compare this ratio to someone else's, known as a referent person. If we believe our ratio is similar to theirs, we perceive fairness. But if we think we are under-rewarded, we feel tension and try to restore equity. For example, imagine you work just as hard as a colleague, but discover they earn more than you do. You might reduce your effort, start looking for another job, or even mentally check out. In some cases, people justify the difference by thinking, maybe they have more experience, which helps reduce the feeling of unfairness. Research shows that most people are more sensitive to under-reward than over-reward, though not everyone reacts the same way. Equity sensitivity researchers have found that people differ in how strongly they react to inequity. This difference is called equity sensitivity. Equity-sensitive individuals want fair, balanced relationships and feel uncomfortable when things are unequal. Benevolents are more generous and don't mind giving more than they receive. Entitled's expect more rewards even for little effort. You can probably think of examples of each type in your own workplace. Organizational justice equity theory focuses on fairness of outcomes, also known as distributive justice. But fairness can take other forms too. 1. Distributive justice. Are rewards distributed fairly? 2. Procedural justice. Were fair processes used to make decisions? For example, were promotions based on performance or favoritism? 3. Interactional justice. Were people treated with respect and dignity during the process? Even if outcomes are fair, poor communication or disrespectful treatment can make employees feel injustice. For instance, a manager might give someone a well-deserved promotion but announce it in an insulting way, undermining the sense of fairness. Expectancy theory. Next, we have expectancy theory, which explains motivation as the result of 3 beliefs. 1. Expectancy, the belief that effort will lead to good performance. 2. Instrumentality, the belief that performance will lead to outcomes or rewards. 3. Valence, the value you place on those rewards. For example, if an employee believes that working hard will result in good performance, high expectancy, that good performance will lead to a bonus, high instrumentality, and that they actually care about the bonus, high valence, motivation will be high. If any of these 3 components is low, motivation drops. Imagine being told that no matter how hard you work, promotions are based on seniority. Expectancy and instrumentality both collapse, and so does your motivation. Reinforcement theory. The final process-based theory is reinforcement theory, based on the idea that behavior is shaped by its consequences. This theory comes from the work of psychologists like Ivan Pavlov and B.F. Skinner. Pavlov's classic experiment showed how dogs learn to associate the sound of a bell with food. Similarly, Skinner demonstrated that behavior could be shaped by rewards and punishments. In organizations, reinforcement happens all the time. When employees are rewarded for good performance, they are more likely to repeat it. When negative behaviors are ignored or punished, they tend to decrease. There are 4 main types of reinforcement. 1. Positive reinforcement, giving a reward for desired behavior, like praising an employee for meeting a deadline. 2. Negative reinforcement, removing an unpleasant condition when good behavior occurs, such as reducing supervision for reliable employees. 3. Extinction, ignoring unwanted behavior so it gradually disappears, for example, not reacting to attention-seeking complaints. 4. Punishment, introducing negative consequences for poor behavior, like a warning or pay deduction. Reinforcement also depends on timing. Rewards can be given continuously after a fixed number of actions, or on a variable schedule, like in casinos, where unpredictable rewards keep people playing. You can see reinforcement theory in action all around us, from customer loyalty programs to gamified apps to social media likes, all of which use reinforcement to encourage repeat behavior. Understanding how reinforcement works helps us design systems that encourage positive habits both at work and in our personal lives.